Filial piety is a specific expression of morality but limited within the scope of family. One might say filial piety is simply morality expressed within the family environment. The fundamental difference between general morality and filial piety lies in their scope of application. Morality encompasses universal love without discrimination, whereas filial piety explicitly distinguishes its recipients, applying strictly within the family. Once you step beyond the family's threshold, it's no longer called filial piety. When two people marry, they form a family. Therefore, spouses must also practice filial piety towards each other. For example, husbands should remember to buy gifts for their wives, demonstrating their filial devotion to their life partners. However, if there's only filial piety without balance, it can easily lead to situations of escalation. The wife might gradually gain dominance, and the husband may become increasingly subordinate. Hence, to maintain balance in marital relationships alongside filial piety, resilience is essential. Without inner strength, you risk falling into a situation of continual escalation. Simultaneously, lacking wisdom means you won't know when to stop or where the boundaries are. Allowing escalation to continue might land you in the position of a henpecked husband, a rather dangerous scenario for family equilibrium. On the internet, many teachers often say, among all virtues, filial piety is the most important. This sounds familiar, but is it truly correct? Let's look at historical figures. Did the Buddha practice filial piety? Throughout his 45 years preaching in India, he only returned home twice and even disobeyed his parents by refusing to become a king. Was Jesus filial? Throughout his life, he rarely returned home. Did Confucius exhibit filial piety? He wandered from country to country, serving as an official here and then getting deposed, serving elsewhere and nearly losing his life many times. Only upon returning home did he open a school and teach until his death. Judged by the traditional standard that filial piety means staying close and obedient to one's parents, these great figures might all be labeled as unfilial. Yet they are universally recognized as moral exemplars by the entire world. When you elevate your morality to a broader scope, the smaller morality naturally becomes encompassed within the greater morality and ceases to be prioritized. Because each day only has 24 hours, our time is limited. As the saying goes, we are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. In famous poem by the poet Che Lan Vian. If you require your children to practice filial piety by confining them within four walls, preventing them from stepping outside to pursue their dreams, or frequently pulling them back home under the guise of filial duty, you may unwittingly rob your child of their dreams and ambitions. People with aspirations and ambitions should be encouraged to spread their wings far and wide rather than being held back. When children contribute positively to society and the world, that itself becomes an expression of filial piety. Why do we only want our children to serve our own interests? This needs careful consideration. Demanding filial piety is justified when your children are unfilial, those who haven't contributed anything to society. But if they are already contributing significantly, don't use filial piety to tie them down. Demanding a child who can potentially contribute to millions of people to serve only two individuals, their parents, is selfishness. And selfishness is never a virtue. Filial piety can thus be viewed as morality confined to family boundaries. If a person has already dedicated themselves to others in society, we shouldn't use filial piety to restrain them. We can classify moral development into several levels. Lowest level, unfilial, people who disturb neighbors and abuse or mistreat their parents. Slightly higher level, living harmoniously within family and surroundings. Higher level, knowing how to help people around you, particularly family. This is filial piety. Highest level, expanding the concept of family, helping the community, neighbors, and actively participating in charity or social activities. These people exemplify outstanding virtue, standing at the top of moral standards. True filial piety doesn't stop at simply caring for your parents. It encompasses deeper dimensions. The most filial child is one who not only assists the family but also contributes to the community and helps preserve nature. Remarkably, a genuinely filial person brings back these positive values to support their parents in self-improvement. This is the most difficult form of filial piety, far surpassing ordinary caregiving responsibilities. Filial piety has multiple layers. When filial piety transcends family boundaries and extends into the community without discrimination, we call it broader morality or universal love. In Christianity, this universal love extends widely, like Jesus showing compassion even to strangers. For instance, Mother Teresa cared for thousands of strangers, including those infected with HIV. However, people generally don't call this filial piety, as filial piety usually stays within family limits. If we reason this way, could compassion be superior to filial piety? Compassion is unconditional and infinite. The Buddha spoke of the four immeasurable minds, include the loving kindness, the compassion, the joy, the equanimity. So, how could these boundless virtues be restricted to just family? We must be cautious using filial piety, lest we unintentionally clip our children's wings. Many use filial piety to limit their children's potential only within the scope of family or clan, although their abilities could serve thousands or even millions. It's crucial to encourage children to soar high, not to confine their ambitions. If children can love and contribute to many others, they certainly will love their family too. If they can contribute broadly, when the family needs them, they will naturally help. Insisting that they serve only the family is inherently selfish. Filial piety also requires wisdom and determination, not just pure moral sentiments. Imagine a situation. When parents age 60 are diagnosed with terminal illness, their 35-year-old child admits them to the hospital, and the doctors announce that they have just 1 year left. At this moment, morality alone isn't sufficient. A filial child needs wisdom to seek alternative treatments, from traditional medicine to holistic therapies. They search the internet, connect with leading experts, and even consult former patients for verification. After extensive research, the child may identify reputable healers and take their parents from the hospital to receive alternative treatment. Spending 3 months alongside their parents, providing continuous care. This exemplifies determination. As a result, the parent's condition improves significantly. This example clearly illustrates that filial piety requires both wisdom and determination, not just moral sentiments alone. Simple tasks may rely solely on morality, but complex challenges demand both wisdom and perseverance. When facing difficulties, we must thoughtfully seek solutions and persist until achieving results. Thus, anyone who thinks filial piety is just about moral feelings lacks profound understanding.